这是我在请主持人开场之前，先声明一下，这是我第一次一个人参加，一个人在场上代表整个 panel， 不断的这个适应新的现实，所以我就不坐下来了，我就站在这里，这样我们大家可以 maintain eye contact. So are we going to? So back to Stephen.
Right. 大家早上好. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this fireside chat. So my name is Stephen. I'll be moderating this fireside chat. And I'm very privileged to have with me today Po Jun from JTC, as well as Mr. Vincent Wang from Wanxiang blockchain. So there's a lot of excitement in Singapore recently on a digital district up north in an area we call Punggol. All right, I'm sure there's many things, exciting things that Po Jun would want to share with us, but we only have 20 minutes. So let's get things started. So Po Jun, maybe you can get the ball rolling by introducing a bit about JTC, as well as tell us a bit more about the Punggol Digital District. Right, Po Jun, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Stephen. 谢谢王总，辛苦您了。I'm Po Jun from the Singapore's JTC Corporation, Yilang集团, and we are the Singapore's leading industrial development agency. You have probably seen our developments in One North, Wei Yi and so forth. And so thank you for inviting us today with all the experts here, and very pleased to share about PDD, or Punggol Digital District. So Punggol is a Malay name. It means hurling sticks, but today it's more important to pass on useful data than sticks. And that's what Punggol is about. And I have a map behind that shows the Punggol Digital District. So it is a smart district comprising 8 towers, over 10 hectares of land. The entire development is about 50 hectares. So it's very well designed place for work, play, and learn. And with a lot of lifestyle amenities, subway right below the buildings, shopping, you see waterfront views, sea sports, childcare for working parents, lots of greenery and natural heritage. It's a new lifestyle. And believe it or not, this is only a business park, but it's master planned and developed by JDC, and right next to our future campus of the Singapore Institute of Technology, or SIT. And we will have 12,000 students, 28,000 workers in PDD when it's completed, and cradled within a very young estate in Punggol. We have about 160,000 residents, bringing jobs to people, and it is a future smart business park that demonstrates Singapore's digital nation ambitions. So having SIT here at the heart of the PDD campus is a very important role in the ecosystem, facilitate research, development, as well as knowledge sharing, and knowing that PDD will also have a business ecosystem of companies in the digital industries, namely cybersecurity, data science, robotics, sustainable energy. Companies and faculty will work very closely together to unlock new opportunities. So we are very excited that China's leading blockchain company, Wanxiang, is coming to PDD to bring along tech capital, tech solutions to accelerate the industrial development and business adoption. So we have Wanxiang, SIT coming together in a very exciting proposition for PDD. Thanks.
Thank you, Po Jun, for the very quick introduction about PDD. It's really exciting, I mean, from SIT's perspective. A university inside a new district surrounded by the industry and widened out by the community. So you can see actually the digital adoption transversing through education to industry to actually the public. Now, with that, actually this creates a lot of opportunities for partnerships, and as many might be aware, there's a lot of interest from the government of both China as well as Singapore to foster closer industry collaborations and partnership between the two countries. So maybe Wang Zong, this is something I would like you to answer. I mean, as a leader in the blockchain industry, what do you think are some of these opportunities in PDD for frontiering technological companies that yourself in PDD?
Okay, thank you. So what is blockchain? What is the very essence of blockchain? Blockchain, basically, some people call it a trust machine. But underlying the trust, to extrapolate from the trust, basically it's a productive relation engine. So it's a technology engine that allows us to build new productive relations, new business relationships, new business models. Now, you mentioned that this, PDD, we find the participation of Wanxiang blockchain in PDD a great privilege for us. We are very happy to be acting as a technology architect, leveraging our understanding of blockchain technology as well as the adjacent technologies that help realize the full potential of blockchain. In terms of a productive relation innovation, so one of we can discuss this on several different layers. The first layer, as you alluded to, Stephen, is a productive relation between the collaboration between Singapore and China. Now that goes back many decades with many great examples of urban collaborations in China. For example, in Suzhou, in Guangzhou, in Hong Kong, in Tianjin. So how do we take those examples of great success, existing great success forward? It's completely conceivable that by working with on the PDD project, we do a new kind of world-leading digital distributed urban infrastructure. And we build a digital city that surpasses whatever is possible with a smart city over the previous decades. So in order to do that, what we need to introduce before application, before scenario design, is to build a trustworthy data infrastructure. So this is where blockchain plays a crucial part. What do we mean by a secured trusted and secured data infrastructure? So in the urban, in the cosmopolitan center like Singapore, there's a huge abundance of data that come from multiple sources. Some are managed by the government on the administrative side. Some are on the, owned by commercial enterprises, and some are, of course, created by individuals, by residents. So how do we build a data pool that allow these different sources of data to converge, but in the meantime, to protect from the very root of the data generation, data provenance, we protect the data sovereignty of every kind of entity. So that is really crucial. So and we also need to do that in a more intuitive, perceptive manner, rather than introducing additional layers of management costs and organizational costs. So that is a combination of a science and art, and we're very excited to begin to introduce this unprecedented secured and trusted data infrastructure in PDD. Then, on top of that, we'll build applications, we'll introduce additional building blocks that I hope I'll have a chance to talk about later. But I'll pause here.
Yeah, thank you so much. As you mentioned very correctly, actually data is key for research, for industry development. The more data you have, actually, the more you can do with it, and the better products you can come out with, and the better innovations you can come out with as well. So, Pojun, I think PDD will be a wealth of data. So I think the question there is, what do you see PDD's role in enabling Singapore as a smart nation, leveraging off this data? What are some of JTC's plans, and how do you want to make this a sustainable development? Because data is something with a long lifetime. It's not just one shot, you give one set of data, but how do you give it continuously and make sure you sustain that development effort? Yeah, Pojun?
Oh, right. I think it's a very, very good question in a sense. I think we're doing something new. Whereas in the past, when we develop infrastructure, we go from physical infrastructure, but here we are doing digital infrastructure in tandem with the physical infrastructure. And there are some various layers, if I could, in the master plan or master development, alongside what Mr. Wang talked about. One is the digital infrastructure, and on top of that, we are talking about how the business services of the companies run alongside that, and how the building infrastructure has its back-end support facilities running as well, just to speak of two layers. And definitely a lot of data will be transmitted, will be collected, and we will experience a lot of this in the whole operations and running of the development. So one of which platform that we are now currently working on is the Open Digital Platform that will connect the different digital subsystems within the PDD using different use cases or scenarios that Mr. Wang talked about. whether it's secured, less secured, across the PDD development, and possibly even across the Congo eco-town if we could and scale it up, allowing the different systems to interoperate and integrate. So this is a running that is important to begin with. That could be across the building management system, the district cooling system, the smart lampposts that we have, the parking facilities, and so forth. And what does it mean? It means that at the back end, building engineering systems are closely integrated, profiled to individual needs based on the data we have. And we will enjoy a very frictionless experience of moving in the building, and turnstiles at lobby will recognize you. You enjoy the right temperature, right, without having to tell the aircon. Food delivered to you effortlessly. And because the buildings will begin to understand us as user profiles very well in the future. That is the power of data. And for companies, I think ODP will also have a digital twin that integrates the physical world and the data within the virtual world to facilitate hopefully very low latency simulations for testing of business products, services, accelerating the time to market for product innovation, and we'll be able to share data with prospects and companies to improve their products because of this. So on this note, I'm very confident that, again, Wanxiang has brought many good business ideas, services to share, as well as this on the use of trusted data.
Right,
yes,
that's very exciting. I think the ODP, the Open Digital Platform, do provide us with actually a wealth of data that I think the industry, the academia, the community can utilize, as you say, for personalized low latency services. But I think to follow up from Wang Zong, what you mentioned earlier on about this data being trusted, about the security of the data, because whilst it's good to have a wealth of data, very often we do see that there are concerns about data sharing as well. Some people are resistant towards sharing. Some people are kind of very cautious about sharing the data and actually believing the data that they see. So how does blockchain enable this data sharing? How would it bring data sharing to the next stage?
Thank you. I think data sharing, first of all, we need to secure the data. We need to protect the data. Secondly, we need to make sure that the data is trustworthy. The data is not faked or unauthenticated. Thirdly, even if you address number one and number two question, then the remaining question is still, okay, so you protected the data and you validate the data, and then what? So what's the value? You're taking all this trouble to fix the data, but if there's no value, if there's no value to be mined from this data infrastructure, then you're not making a difference to the city. So to answer the question number one and question number two, we combine crypto computing and secure computing and blockchain technology. So encrypted computing, basically what that allows is that your data, the data sovereignty is secured and validated. Now, but the best way to protect data is not to generate data or to just hide the data from circulation at all. The problem with that is that then, this is a kind of a nihilistic view of data. So your data needs to come to life, needs to be participative. So the circulation of data, secure circulation of data, requires not only blockchain networking technology, but also requires mechanism design for as incentive and governance, governance tools. So this is where Wanxiang Blockchain Company comes in handy. Then we go to the data mining and the value creation side. The value creation side is fulfilled by our ecosystem, by our brother company, DataYes, in terms of knowledge graph. So we create value out of the data. Now, then the next question, a fourth question or a 3+ question, the bonus question is, so the value is created. So where does that value go? Does the value go to huge monopolistic platform technology companies? How do we make sure that the value of the data trickles back to the rightful owner of this data? Now, that's where mechanism design economic mechanism design and behavioral economics come in play again. So we have observed, we have studied very closely and carefully the lesson learned from the Smart City initiative everywhere in the world, including some of the more problematic deployment that had to be canceled in North America. And we feel that to do this well, to do urban data infrastructure well, we need to be visionary, we need to be imaginative, but we also need to be very humble. And this humility is in our genes, in the genes of Wanxiang Blockchain Company from day one. Since we have invested heavily to build an ecosystem, we cannot do everything by ourselves. We have invested heavily on the ecosystem of a company who have invested in more than 150 companies around the world to help us, to help fulfill our vision. So this is not about Wanxiang going ahead to seize all the opportunities. We look forward to working with a vibrant academic, scientific business ecosystem in Singapore. And that's actually one of the major reasons. Apart from the great merit of a PDD project itself, this is one of the most important reasons for us to come to Singapore. We look forward to work with SIT and receive inspiration from the younger generations, because they will be the owner of the data of the future and the city of the future.
Right, that's a very, very good statement, actually. I mean, because it is true. I mean, smart cities by itself is not a new concept. I mean, everybody is touting smart cities. And a lot of times what happens is they look at it from the technology aspects. They look at, oh, how can I gather the data? And forgot that actually there's the people aspects to this, on how you actually unlock the true value of this data. So yeah, so I think you hit the nail on the head. It's not just about collection of data, putting it all in one place and say, hey, we have a smart nation, we have a smart district where you have access to all data. It's not. It's about building that ecosystem around it to unlock that value. So maybe just an ending question for Pojun, saying that, how do you see that companies from China, from Wanxiang's ecosystem can partake in PDD moving forwards, the next steps after we end this chat?
Yeah, thank you. Just in a very brief description, I think there are so many possibilities and creativity that we can do for PDD. But immediately I could think your question about sustainability and green. We cannot hit much more than energy efficiency than what we can achieve today without smart technologies and strategies. And that's a lot to do with human behaviors, feeling of insecurity of data, and so forth. If I can help to manage, as a landlord, temperatures, energy flow within companies and their spaces, with the help of Wanxiang, for example, in a secure and safe environment, that would be excellent, because they will trust us to be able to manage energy efficiency as a result, as simple as that. So I really wish that there will be more companies and more partners in China who join us in this project. It's a wonderful project because we think at the forefront of technology doesn't depend on one party and one system technology that can dominate the industry, and we wish for more partners to co-innovate, collaborate with us more closely to enjoy win-win outcomes. Thanks.
Right. Thank you. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. As you all can tell, it's really about ecosystem building. I mean, we can unlock the data in the real estates, we can secure them, share them, make them trusted, leveraging off the blockchain technology and other technologies, but it's really bringing everyone together, collaborating, sharing ideas to make this happen. So thank you, Pojun and Vincent, so much for your time today and your sharing. Unfortunately, we only have this amount of time. I'm sure we can talk a lot more about this. So for the audience out there, if you are interested to find out more about PDD, do feel free to contact Pojun or JTC directly. So thank you everyone for attending this fireside chat, and I hope everyone has a very fruitful day ahead.
Okay, thank you, Stephen, and thank you, Wenju. This is a great discussion. I very much look forward to continuing our collaboration down the road. Thank you.
Thank you.